We all know the story of the Headless Horseman of New England, that dark figure who rides through Sleepy Hollow, searching for his lost head. But what if I told you that story wasn't truly American at all? That long before Washington Irving ever penned his ghostly tale, there was another rider, older, darker, and far more terrifying. This is the story of the Dullahan. The Dullahan is one of the most chilling figures in Irish mythology. They say he rides a jet black horse, its eyes burning like candles in the night. He wears a long, black cloak, tattered and soaked with the dew from graveyards. And in one arm he carries his head, pale, decayed, and stretched in a ghastly grin that never fades. That head that he carries is said to see everything. Even without a body, the eyes dart about, able to scan miles ahead, piercing through the walls and darkness alike. And it is said if you ever hear the echo of a single horse galloping on an empty road after midnight, some say it's the Dullahan, seeking the next soul to claim. Unlike your average ghost story, the Dullahan doesn't chase his victims out of anger or revenge. He rides because death demands it. When he stops his horse before a house, it's already too late. He calls out the name of the doomed, and once that name leaves his lips, that person dies instantly. No priest, no doctor, no wall can protect them. Doors unlock on their own as he passes, bolts spring free from invisible hands, and gates swing open as if the very world obeys his command. Some stories say that if anyone dares to watch him ride, he'll lash out his whip, made from a human spine, and he'll take their sight. Others say he throws a bowl of blood in their face, a crimson mark from death itself. But there is one thing that can make him turn away: gold. Even the smallest piece of gold, a coin or a pin, is said to have the power to repel him. It's strange, isn't it, that death itself can be bought off, if only for a moment. In some Irish tales, the Dullahan doesn't ride alone. He drives the silent coach, drawn by 6 black horses that move faster than the wind. These wheels are made from skulls, the lanterns from human eyes. The body of the coach is crafted from coffins and graveyard wood. Everywhere it goes, sparks of spectral fire light up the road beneath it. When the coach stops before your door, no one needs to ask why. It's there to collect. People say when it rides, the countryside falls silent. No dogs bark, no birds sing, even the wind seems to hold its breath. And in that silence, you might hear the faint rattle of chains and the whisper of your own name. The Dullahan may be more than just a ghost. Some historians link him to Crom Dubh, a dark fertility god once worshipped in ancient Ireland. Crom Dubh demanded sacrifices, sometimes human ones, to ensure a good harvest. Now, when Christianity took hold, those rituals were outlawed, but the people worshipped, and that Crom Dubh didn't vanish, he changed. He became the Dullahan. still collecting souls, not for crops or temples, but as part of the eternal balance between life and death. In that way, the Dullahan isn't evil, he's inevitable. A reminder that no matter how far you run, death always knows your name. Across Ireland, tales of the Dullahan persist even into modern times. In County Down, a traveler once saw a headless rider on a fog-covered lane. He turned to run, and his horse bolted in terror. The next morning, a man in the village was found dead. His name had been whispered the night before. In County Sligo, a young woman walking home from a festival saw a shadowed figure on a hill. Lightning flashed, and she saw it clearly, the pale, grinning head under an arm. Panicking, she tore a gold hairpin from her braid and threw it. The Dullahan vanished in a burst of mist. But when she got home, her reflection in the mirror was streaked with the blood that wasn't her own. It is said to this day, if you see the Dullahan on an empty road, never call out or approach it, and never, ever try to look it in the eyes. Now let's take a step across the ocean. When Irish immigrants came to America in the 18th and 19th century, they brought their stories with them, and among them was the Dullahan. In time, that legend evolved. Washington Irving's Legend of Sleepy Hollow, written in 1820, gave us the Headless Horseman of New England, a ghostly Hessian soldier said to haunt the town of Sleepy Hollow, searching for his missing head. But if we look closer, the DNA of the Dullahan runs through that tale like a shadow. Both are headless riders, both appear at night, bringing fear and death. Both chase down the living, though for very different reasons. Now let's have a little dark duel between the legends. While the Headless Horseman is an American folklore popularized by Washington Irving, the Dullahan is an ancient Celtic myth, possibly tied to the god Crom-Dubh. The Headless Horseman seeks revenge or searching for his lost head just in general, while the Dullahan collects souls as a servant of death itself. The Headless Horseman is a headless soldier often said to have lost his head to a cannonball, while the Dullahan rides a black horse, carries his own head with glowing eyes and a hideous grin, but gives no real reason to why he lost it. Now, while the Headless Horseman carries a sword or a pumpkin head, or in some stories just a lantern for his search, the Dullahan carries a human spine whip while he rides his imposing death coach. Now, the Headless Horseman is bound to certain places like Sleepy Hollow, but the Dullahan is unstoppable. No gate or lock can bar him away. Now, the Headless Horseman is bound by geography and by daylight, but the only thing that binds the Dullahan is that little piece of gold that some would carry in their pocket. Now, the Headless Horseman is tied to revenge and to frighten the living, but the Dullahan, no matter how imposing he may be, is to remind the living that death is unavoidable. So while American's Horseman is a ghost of vengeance, Ireland Dullahan is something more cosmic, a living embodiment, if you will, of death's inevitability. One seeking his head, the other doesn't need it. He already knows who's next. Maybe that's why the Dullahan feels more ancient, because he doesn't chase you out of anger. He comes because your time is simply over. So the next time you hear hoofbeats echoing down a dark road, ask yourself, Is it just a story? Or is it something older than legend, still riding through the night, head in hand, whispering names on the wind? Because the Dullahan doesn't warn you before it comes. He only rides once. And if he stops at your door, it's already too late.